Winnipeg Hockey Talk would like to welcome you to its live version of Random Thoughts on the Winnipeg Jets with host Harley Friesen and WinnipegHockeyTalk.com's owner and writer, Mitch Kasprick.
All right, we're back. Thanks for joining us. The Jets are on the road, our sleep schedules are suffering, and emotions are running high. But hey, that's hockey season for ya. Let's jump right into this week's article. We're kicking things off with the road trip disaster. 0 wins in California and only 2 goals. The only way they can salvage this road trip is by winning the last 3 games. That's not going to happen, only scoring 2 goals in 3 games. Oh boy.
Yeah, I've resolved myself to the fact that we're not winning the next 3. You're always hoping to be at least 500 on a road trip. So this 6-game road trip, we would have liked to have come home with 6 points, but we got big 0 so far. 3 games left. I'm gonna settle for 2 wins, and cut our losses. It's one thing to say I don't I want 3 more wins, but I'm basing the way they played on those first 3 games. They're really, really poor. And we had chances to win every game in a sense, but when you don't score and you get behind, you dig a deeper hole. And like the LA game was close the whole way, and they won it late. And the next 2, we were hanging on for our lives. They really exposed how bad our defense was, without Dylan Sandberg. We'll get into this later, but DeMello and Pionk and Shen were awful. So I want to just, Monday night, I want to win in Vancouver, and we'll go from there.
For sure. Next up, the return of some key players, but not the miracle fix yet. Adam Lowry returned to the lineup on Thursday night versus LA, and Cole Perfetti drew back in against Anaheim last night. But they will probably need a few more games to be difference makers. The player this team needs back desperately is Dylan Sandberg.
Gee, surprise! Yeah, nice to have the captain back. Nice to have Cole back. But he looked rusty. He missed an empty net on a absolute great pass by Jonathan Toews, and maybe that was the lack of familiarity with playing with him. He wasn't ready for it. He did get his stick on it, but it was an open sitter. I mean, that should have been bing zing and in, and he missed it. Scooped it off the side of the net, but nice to have them back. It'll be a couple games before they get their sea legs, as they say. It's one thing practicing, been getting up to the speed of the game, especially against a pretty fast Anaheim team. And Cole's not exactly the fastest guy for a young guy, but he makes up for it in other ways, and he'll be fine.
Point 3. Here's one I think a lot of fans can relate to: late nights and frustration. You write that it's really frustrating staying up late and watching your team crap the bed, scoring only 2 goals in 3 games. Plus, you really hate going to bed pissed off.
Well, that's I've learned to deal with losses a lot better. Like, I was livid last night. I'm going, but, I mean, I'm looking at the other town scoreboard, and I have Nathan McKinnon, and he had, 5 points, so that kind of eased the pain. But I feel for the working guys, the working gals that stay up late. They ruin their sleep, and then they got to work next morning. I mean, this morning I got up. I forced myself to get up at 9 o'clock to finish the article, but if it wasn't for it being Monday in the article, I could vision at 10:30, 11 o'clock. So kudos to those Jets fans that stayed up late and dealt with that debacle.
The real fans.
Yeah.
All right. We have point 4. Josh Morrissey has been a little off in his own end lately, but he's actually playing decently. That'll happen when you have to play both positions on defense. Obviously, I'm not happy with the play of Dylan DeMello, and I haven't been for a long time. I'm tired of hearing about his good plus minuses or his positive Corsi numbers. You could put a chimp with Josh and he'd have positive numbers. Right now, he is an anchor in that top pairing. I'm not buying into the DeMello rhetoric anymore. It was warranted at one time, but not anymore. So hey, put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yeah, put it in your pipe and smoke it. And you're right, there was a time where it was warranted. As a matter of fact, you go back to Paul Maurice's days and he said Dylan DeMello was coach's porn, which is quite the compliment to, and what he's saying is he's a delight. Not that porn's a delight, but he's coach's porn. He was just so coachable and everything he was like. But that was then and this is now. He's a different player. I was actually against re-signing him. I would have let him go and kept Brendan Diller, who's more physical, a better skater. I'm not sure if he's younger. He might be a little. But for me, in spite of the analytic numbers, I don't like. My eye test tells me that he's slow. He's getting beaten a lot. He turns the puck over a lot. He gets outworked right in front of the net. And it's making Josh look bad. And that chimp playing with Josh wouldn't take the penalties from being beat outside. Yeah, I'm not happy with the DeMello. I'm not happy with Pionk. Those are 2 contracts that we're saddled with. And like I said to Harley earlier, it's one thing to bitch and complain, but I know it's easier to, it's easier said than done to replace these guys. But like I'm sure Chevy sees it. He went not a lot out there on the market, and like they say, better the devil you know, and so they signed him. But I've been saying for probably the last 2.5 years, you're not going to win a Stanley Cup with our blue line unless Connor Hellebuck stands on his head every night and we outscore their mistakes. And I'm talking about our brutal blue line. Like we have 2 NHLers, and let's not kid ourselves. It's Josh Morrissey and Dylan Sandberg, and it's showing right now how much we miss Sandberg. So yeah, let's move on. I don't like picking on the home team guys, but I'm done with the mill. I was done a long time ago.
Time to pick on our goalie a little bit then. Helly's wandering and poor puck handling are starting to rear their ugly head again. What's with that?
Well, I'm not picking on him. It's like an inside joke with all my Twitter followers and friends. And a couple years ago, when he was just horrendous, like he's starting to revert back to with handling the puck, overhandling it, and causing a lot of angst amongst his defensemen. The joke was that I'm going to get the shock collar out, and every time Helly leaves his crease and be like a
going too far, Helly.
just like you do with your dog when you're training him. Yeah, so he's starting to wander a little bit, and his puck play really has improved over the years, but lately he's reverted to bad Helly. So I jokingly tweeted maybe time to dig the shock collar out of storage.
Okay, you have a question for Kevin Cheveldayoff.
Yeah.
How much of Steven Stamkos' 3 times $8 million contract would Nashville have to eat for you to take him off their hands? He sure would look good alongside Jonathan Taves and Cole Perfetti.
Yeah, he looked good on the power play, first or second unit. He's just lost in Nashville. I mean, he's he hasn't forgotten how to play. It's just different, and the Jets play more of a style he's used to, like he was used to playing with Tampa. So there's no way I am paying him $8 million for 2 full seasons, and then the prorated amount for this season. But if Nashville ate, we'll say half of it, or a good chunk, I'd love to see Chevy take a stab at him. He's gonna help us. He'd be great here. But of course, it's not that I've heard anything from any insiders or what. It's just me speculating. And actually, a friend of mine, Ben in Alberta, kind of brought it up. And yeah, well, put it this, and I got Stamkos on my fantasy team, and he's just pissing me off. Like, come on, dude. I don't care how bad things are. You're too talented to be putting up these terrible numbers. So I think Chevy would be doing him and Nashville a favor by maybe inquiring. And I'll guarantee you one thing. Nashville, by the trade deadline this year, with Stammer only having 2 years left, they're going to be dangling him out there, and somebody's going to grab him. It's going to be some team that thinks they're a Stanley Cup contender, so why not us?
Exactly. Now let's talk about the games where speed kills. You mentioned earlier how some players are looking a little slow depending on who they're playing against. When you play against young skating teams like the San Jose Sharks and Anaheim Ducks, they can really explode slower players like Dylan DeMello, Luke Shan, and Logan Stanley. DeMello was beyond awful in both games.
Yeah, and I don't want to pile on anymore. I've already brought it up earlier. But he just is such an anchor to Josh Morrissey. And he was lost last night. He makes good plays. It's not like he stinks every play, every shift. But when you're playing against a good team, you got to be good all the time, and you got to be good when you're playing in the top pairing and your partner's Josh Morrissey. You're supposed to be covering his back, not the other way around. So,
Right.
yeah, Josh is got to cover too much ice, making up for Dylan's his part, and they would never say that. And even a lot of our media and fans have gone nose blind to DeMello's stench, and it's not. I shouldn't say that. That's rude. But he's not playing good.
All right, switching gears a bit here as we take a moment to talk about how the Moose are doing. The Manitoba Moose are 4-6-2-0 after their first dozen games and are in 14th place out of a 17-team Western Conference. Their biggest issue is a lack of scoring here. Ville Heinola only has 2 points and is the runaway leader with a negative 14 plus minus. Wow, how the mighty have fallen.
Yeah, that was shocking to see the numbers when I looked at him. Billy is a driver. He carries that team. He's always close to the top leading scorer. And when I saw minus 14, my first thought was, is he so pissed off at being in the AHL and put on waivers that he's just mailing it in? Well, that's not hurting anybody but himself.
Right.
And I don't think he's going to do that. But yeah, his numbers are awful. And right now the Moose they're not scoring very much, and they have their goals for and goals against differential is not good. So there's a lot of guys on that team that are sporting a minus, but not a 14. And after 12 games, there's guys that have sixes, sevens, eights. That's bad enough after a dozen games, but -14 is awful and embarrassing. One of my favorite players on that team, Thomas Milich, is 500 in goal, and he's got pretty decent numbers for a team that's not scoring. So I see him more than DeVincentis as maybe the heir apparent to Comrie, who I'm souring on again, but we'll get to that later.
Last week, you said NHL officiating was ugly. And judging by this next point, it hasn't gotten any prettier. Without exaggerating, you said you've seen at least 7 or 8 San Jose penalties go uncalled. A Sharks player just ripped Iafallo's stick out of his hands 5 feet from the official. WTF, man.
Yeah, I did say WTF, and I don't think I should get one of these.
I think you should.
We all know what it means, but I didn't say. Yeah, so I saw bodies flying all over the place in front of the Sharks net. So they were letting them play, so which is fine. But what I couldn't deal with was the one official was sitting in the corner to the right side of the Sharks net. Iafallo was kind of just off to the side of the net, and the defenseman just grabbed his stick, chucked it right in front of the official. Iafallo looks at him like this, and that official just ignored him like nothing was going on. That I don't like, and I hate. We'll get this from play-by-play guys in every game. On certain penalty, they'll say, "Wow, they're going to call that every time." Oh yeah, bullshit. They didn't call it there, and oh boy. Well, it's a good thing that was only a 25 center, so I might still. I have a budget. Phyllis gives me a $5 budget for
That's
the
your
swear
limit.
jar.
It's your cutoff.
Well, no, I'm only at $1. I haven't said I said the sort of the big one, but yeah. Anyway, back to the officiating. I'm not gonna go soft on them. They upset me.
And fairly so. Point 10. Time for one of those moments that makes you question reality. A true blowout scenario. You say you can't imagine how you would react if the Jets lost a home game 9-1. Oiler fans and Connor McDavid were livid after being thumped 9-1 by the visiting Colorado Avalanche.
Yeah, I liked the 4 points I got from Nathan McKinnon. And then the next 2 nights later, I think he got 5 in Vancouver, 9 points in 2 games. But that's another story. Yeah, I couldn't imagine being a walk-up customer or a season ticket holder, with the price of season tickets, you're going to a home game and a team that's considered a Stanley Cup, favorite. You got the best player in the world and his sidekick Leon, and you get thumped at home 9-1.
Yikes.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't feel so bad about the Jets losses after that, because they're sitting at the Gary Bettman bogus 500. And we're still 9-6, so I guess there's problems all over. Yeah, I'm gonna give the boy. I mean, I give the Jets a break on this. They need to get healthy, readjust, but they are playing like shit right now. I'll punch that one in myself. It was worth it. Next.
Poll time. This week, Winnipeg Hockey Talk asks you, if the price is right, should Chevy look into acquiring Steven Stamkos? No or heck yeah?
I'm just curious what my readers think. And when I say if the price is right, but there might be a lot of guys just say, "Oh no, I'd rather see Chiprikoff or Brad Lambert playing up." Well, on those 2 guys, on their best days in the next 2 years will never be as good as Steven Stamkos is when he's bad. So,
There you go.
yeah, Stammer can still play, I have no doubt. And but that's my opinion, and I like to get the opinions of others, even if they're wrong.
Point 12. Time for your stats corner. We have power plays 13th at 20%, down from the 8th at 21.6%. Penalty kills 6th at 86.9%, down from 5th 89.4%. Face off 8th at 52.7%, down from 6th at 53.1%.
Right.
Is there a drop that worries you more, or doesn't matter?
Well, all three of them dropped a bit, no big deal. But to answer your question, the one that concerns me the most, as a coach, is the penalty kill, because those are pucks going in your net. Anytime you cut down goals, that's a good thing. As a fan, I'd like to see the power play humming. I like when goals go in.
Of course.
And the power play can sometimes save you a game. You know, on this road trip, you go to all three games they played. If they would have scored on one of their first couple power plays in each game, that changes the game. It's a tough grind out there, and if you have a good power play, it can be a lethal weapon. So I'd say I don't like any of them falling, but if one was gonna drop off just a bit, I'd say the power play. And if the PK is strong, it lets you play more aggressive, and it can cover up and save some of the mistakes of some of our bad defense.
And we've heard a lot of that lately.
Yes.
Point 13. Let's talk goalies. Helly is 6-5-0 with a 2.3 goals against and a .922 save percentage. And Eric Comrie is a 3-1-0, 2.75 goals against with a .908 save percentage.
Want to hear the funny thing about that?
What's that?
Connor Hellebuck lost in LA and in San Jose.
Right.
And his goals against average went down, and his save percentage went up, although he picked up 2 losses. Eric Comrie got his first loss of the season, and his goals against and save percentage took a pretty big hit. And the only problem I have with the goaltenders is I gotta disagree with Arnie starting Comrie last night. There was no need for it. The Jets needed a win, and you gotta stop that 2-game losing streak. And the way you do that is you play your best goalie. And
right.
I'm always shaky on Comrie at the best, and I finally accepted him as a good backup for Helly. But I didn't like 2 of those goals last night. And in a 4-1 game, you take away those 2 goals, and it's a 2-1 game, and it's still winnable. And he did not give his team a chance to win. They could have easily played Helly, hopefully won that game, and they want to give Comrie a game. They could have waited till Monday and played him then. And Helly is a volume goalie. He likes to play lots. And so do most starters. But the thing is, you know, it's so early in the year. Don't worry about him being tired. He's a stud. Let him go. And this isn't like Pee Wee hockey where the parents will, call Coach Arneal and say, "Oh, how come
my
Eric's not
getting
playing?"
playtime?
Yeah, we don't need that. This is the bigs. You play to win. Helly gives you the best chance. And it's easy for me to sit here in retrospect, and say that when we've watched the game and Comrie wasn't good. like they say, retrospective analysis is never wrong.
Here we go. This week's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Great movie. Blondie. Hey, Blondie.
Okay, this week's good. Jonathan Taves is looking better and better, but might need some help. Hopefully, Cole Perfetti is the answer.
Well, JT is not disappointing me. He does so many subtle things well, and it's I noticed them because I like him. That's funny, and I'm going to just throw this out there. When you've got something on a guy where you're really pissed off at him, you notice every mistake. In your eyes, it's magnetized, right? Which can be unfair. On the flip side, I'm a big Taves fan. I've been watching him since he was 13 years old, and when he was in his bantam draft year at 14, when I was scouting for the Portland Winterhawks, I bet you I saw him play 50 times. So I watched him grow from a little 5'9" guy that guys attacked every night and tried to bully, and he stood up to it and he was strong. And then he got bigger and stronger and he's become a great pro. And I just watch how he carries himself out there, and I see so many of those little sweet nuances he has that remind me of his younger days, his days with Chicago. He's just a really smart and good hockey player. And before the season's over, he's going to become a factor. And I'm hoping that he's just not using us as a stepping stone to move on. Then he signs another 2-year contract at least.
For sure.
And I'm a big fan of Taser, and I think the guys in the room are too.
How couldn't you be?
Yeah.
The bad for this week, Helly is starting to make poor decisions with the puck again, causing angst amongst his defensemen. Which is fair. And the fans.
Yeah, I heard...
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Get back in the net.
Play your position.
Yeah, we covered it earlier, and he's had a couple rough outings with that. He'll get it straightened out, and goalie coach Wade Flaherty will point it out, and I'm sure the defenseman and the goalie always talk about it. They'll sort it out, and they'll say they'll have some kind of code word or something if they want him to do something with it. But until then, stay the hell in your crease, dude.
Makes everyone's job a lot more easier.
Yeah.
The ugly. 4 2-on-1s in one period. That's ugly. And honestly, I think ugly might have been too nice of a word, because I saw your tweet during the game called for the Herb Brooks special bag skate. Again.
And
again. And again.
Yeah. I was at that point. I was so pissed off. I said, Joe, I want to hurt them. I want to do something to make them pay. And well, obviously, you're too young to remember 1980.
Sure.
What a bit like when they won the gold medal, The Miracle on Ice, and there was 2 movies where the original Herb Brooks was played by actor Carl Malden. Not a good look for her, but in the second one, Miracle, with Kurt Russell, that's a better looking Herb Brooks. It was a pretty special movie. But the thing that's funny, that most of the youngsters probably won't remember or know, but it was in the year before, or maybe even 2, when they were building the team for the Olympics, They went on an exhibition tour, and they were playing in, I think that game, they were playing in Norway. And I'm not sure if they lost the game. They may have actually won it, and they were whooping it up on the bench, and Herbie was pissed off. So, what he did, and this is the part that nobody or a lot of people don't know, was this famous bag skate happened after the game, not at practice the next
That's
day.
crazy. He got them to work right away.
Yeah. So the Norwegian team is long gone. The fans were gone. My God, this is one part I forgot to mention to you earlier when I was telling you the story. Craig Patrick was the assistant coach, and he's standing in the corner, and Herbie's at like the blue line or center ice, and so he's got them lined up doing the bag skate where blue line back, center line back, far blue line back, far end and back. So you figure a couple of those and that'll teach them a lesson. I don't know what the exact time frame was, but I think it was well over an hour. And all he'd just do was say, again, and Craig would send them. These guys were dragging their asses back. They were whipped, and he wouldn't stop. Again. And it was so bad, the workers at that rink shut the lights off.
You're kidding.
And they were skating in the dark, and you could just, Herbie, again. And the cute, funny part about that again was at Christmas time, the players chipped in and they bought him a whip. And the players are all chanting, again. So that was, they learned their lesson, and that's
Sounds
what came
like
out of it. But it's a great story. I love watching that.
That's a good one. All right, point 15. With the Winter Olympics fast approaching, many are wondering what the Russian athletes and or team will be called. In 1992, they were called the Unified Team. In 2018, they were called the Olympic Athletes from Russia. At the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, Russian athletes competed under the name of the Russian Olympic Committee. And at the 2024 Summer Games in Paris, these athletes were referred to as the individual neutral athletes. Whether you like the Russians or not, I miss them in the international competitions, even though those commies are rotten, cheating.
Bastards. LOL. Yeah, sports mixed with politics has always revolved around the Russians, the Soviet Union, whatever you want to call them. Most of the time it's warranted, sometimes but the big one for me was the state-sponsored doping scandal. Their Olympic Committee, their government sponsored and condoned their cheating and their doping. That came out in the IOC. Well, they're one of the governing bodies, hit them hard and suspend them. I can't blame. But I don't like to see individual athletes suffer because their governing body are a bunch of idiots, unless they were the ones they were doping. I don't like watching the World Juniors at Christmas time without the Russian team there. They're always a perennial favorite with the Americans and the Canadians, and sometimes the Swedes. Same thing with the Olympics. So my buddy Ben texted me. He says, "So what's going on with the Russians?" And I said, "Well, as far as I know, they're going under what's that acronym, Harley? AIN. It's technically in French it was Athletes individual neutral.
Okay.
But that's how they said it in French, and that's why that letters are in that order. But that's what I think. Sometimes with its teams it's different, but I don't. I like when the Russians into there. I like when the best beats the best. It's nice when they're not there. What it does is maybe the team that's fourth or fifth might jump up to a medal spot, which is nice for them. But even in the World Juniors, sometimes I think it's a hollow victory when you don't beat Russia in the semifinal or the final. So yeah, I prefer them there, but I understand sometimes their anti. You know what? I've been seeing this. We just talked about 3 or 4 Olympics in the 2000s. Oh God, it goes back into the 70s, the 80s, back into the. I'm not sure when they started competing. Was in the late 50s or 60s, but they've been just bad. They're cheaters, but I love them.
Guess we'll see this year.
Mm-hmm.
Let's wrap up on something good with our last point on women's hockey coming to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
The Professional Women's Hockey League announced that Canada Life Centre will host one of the 16 neutral site games in the expanded 2025-2026 PWHL Takeover Tour. The Winnipeg game will feature the Montreal Victoires and the Ottawa Charge on Sunday, March 22nd at 6 p.m. This tour brings many of the top women's hockey players in the world to cities across North America, giving fans a chance to experience the competitiveness of the PWHL's regular season in their own communities. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm a big supporter of the international Team Canada girls women's hockey team. Anytime you're wearing the Canadian uniform, I'm all in, and a big supporter of those gals. As far as this league, I watch it. I've watched it. It's okay. It as long as it's competitive. The brand of hockey is decent, But I just I got a bit of a disclaimer here. Before the feminists come after me, try to cancel me, would you leave me alone? Let us get started before you cancel me. I'm not a misogynist, and there's no hidden meaning why this became random thought number 16. The truth of it is, and I can prove it, I published this article this morning at 10:30. I got the press release from, I think it was the Jets or whomever it was. I saw it at 11:15, and it was the time stamp on it where my email was 11 o'clock. And as soon as I saw it, I scrambled to my article, put it back in draft format, and added that because it's important news for today. And I'm a supporter, and I'd like to go watch that game. I might have to send Harley as our correspondent. Maybe Grandma will go with her. But no, I'm glad that this game's going to be here. And I thought it was really smart because this game's not until March, and they've given it a good 5 months to promote it and that. And I'd love to see a full barn at the game.
Yeah, it's awesome. Shining a light on women athletes, women's sports. They deserve the recognition, and it's cool we get to experience it live in our city. So yeah, really cool stuff. Well, that wraps things up for this week's Winnipeg Hockey Talk article. If you like what you're watching, give us a thumbs up, turn on that subscribe button. If you feel like it, go submit your answer for the poll under point 11 in the article itself. We'd like to know what your thoughts are. Best of lucks to the Jets in their game against the Canucks. And we'll be back next week to talk more Jets and all things hockey.
Yeah, shoot us a comment or whatever. And one more note. Congratulations to Jennifer Botterill.
Oh yeah.
She was named to the Hockey Hall of Fame. As big a supporter I am of Canadian teams and sports, I'm just the biggest supporter of local Winnipeg. And Jen is a gal that made good. I actually we used to brag about how proud he was of Sammy Jo Small when she was the goalie for the Olympic team and that. Well, when I was helping a buddy of mine coach I guess it was the Bantam Fort Rouge Twins, she actually was the goaltender on one of the teams we played against, and she was good then. So seeing her make it to the national stage didn't surprise me. But for Jen, she does a pretty good job on Hockey Night in Canada. I don't really agree with a lot of the stuff she says as a commentator, but I loved her as a hockey player. She represented Winnipeg very well. She was a good player at the international level and well deserving. She's in the Hockey Hall of Fame. That's a pretty big deal.
Yep. Congrats to her.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So we're gonna,
off. And go Jets, go.
We're gonna head her out of here.
Oh.